Hello again, March the 16th. Just a continuation through from where we just finished. This one here, and then building on this one here, which really started this whole series, which we are getting into towards the big event, the solar eclipse of April 8 and beyond, which really is just the push button which gets everything started and into the final line. So it's about redesigning reality. That's what it really is. And we're going into the phase of dreaming on the 26th of March. That is when the Mayan calendar enters the Kaban wave, which is all about dreaming a new reality into creation, envisioning it, and for that bringing it down to earth. Let me just show you here in the calendar quickly where we are at. It's always a good thing to anchor within this magical grid of time. Again, the links are below if you are wanting to kind of start following it. I really recommend that. It's one of the most easy to follow tools because it's only 20 characters, and once you're starting to become familiar, you're just watching the energy of the day, and then you're looking at it in the light of that tone, and the tone meaning the number and the day sign. And there is excellent literature out there. As I say, I have links where you can learn about that. Really worth it. I at some point will hopefully be able to teach that. Right now I'm still just doing what I'm doing right now, but that will come eventually. I definitely will offer a course on the Mayan calendar itself, and then we go systematically through all the different subsegments of it, so to say. Anyway, so we have come out of the core column. This was March the 9th. You might remember that day was quite a powerful one. This was the new moon 6 days ago now. And today we are here on the 4 Manik, which is the blue self-existing hand. Blue standing for the direction of west. So Manik is a Western sign, which is all about interaction and meeting of opposites. One of the signs which is related to innovation. So today is a very innovative energy. That is what healing is all about, to kind of surpass nature, to read the signs and then pick up from there and build out. It's what a good gardener does. She observes the natural rhythms, the cycles, the plants, where do they best and such, and then improves upon it. That's the energy of Manik of today. Then we are still in the core, we're close to the core spine of the calendar, which again, for those new here, February 18 till March 9, this was the 20 core days, and you can really, it's easy, just go back if you have the memory, if you have notes or what, remember certain dates. It was a very, very powerful day of recasting, forging us into a central spine, so to see, a pillar of light which holds the ground. And now we're in the execution phase. Before we were in the build-up phase, so this is really the turning point, and we're now in this 10-day stretch of portal days, galactic activation portals they are called. It's kind of that, think of the Nazca lines. I guess there they gave it away. It was a culture at the time who was creating all these miles long structures on the ground, which only became really recognized as we were able to fly airplanes, and all of a sudden these images stood out. So these cultures definitely, that is their way of telling us they were definitely flying, and probably much better with much more advanced technological equipment than we have as of today, at least officially, and not even thinking of the black projects, which probably means by now we are pretty much at that point overall, if it would be released, which will eventually, hopefully or not, doesn't really matter in the end, happen. But I think these technological advancements are available, somebody is guarding them, and they will be released for the greater good when the time is ripe, soon coming. So we're in these 10 portal days. Today is the 16th, as I say, and this will be the 26th, as I say, 25th of March. So into the 24th we still are in this portal energy. Then Kaban, this is the time of dreaming a new reality into creation. And on the, so this is 26, on the 8th of April, big day, the eclipse, the total solar eclipse, 1 Oak, the loyal heart. That's the 13-day sequence. If you start counting from left, top, down, over to here, this is the 13th. The 14th. Where are we here again? Here, this day. This will be the eclipse day. Oak is all about connecting on the heart level with each other, creating the tribe. The number 14 is super powerful naturally. It's the 13 plus 1. So we have gone through 13 times 13 days, and now we have ripened to the place where we truly can honor each other's differences and connect on that level of where we are overlapping, what is mutual, what we share, and let the rest be for what it is, because it is, in the end, the more colors we have in this world, the more differences, variations, the more richer it is. I guess it's as simple as that. So we have to allow naturally within the moral framework of goodness and of mutual support. That is the baseline. That is where everything is coming out of, that heart energy, which is truly rooting into earth right now. One can feel it. It's literally happening. So it is that child being born out of an egg. That was the 7th degree of Aquarius, the Sabian symbol, where Venus and Mars had a conjunction on February the 22nd, a very powerful day. We had 3 X-class flares on that day, really celebrating that new beginning. 7th degree, go back to that recording, it's worth it. A child being born out of an egg. So when something is born out of an egg, it came to me the other day, then the shell needs to crack. The egg has to be destroyed in a way. Think Earth. Maybe that's exactly what is happening. Earth is cracking open for something new to be born. Just thought that might give you the allegory of what is in the tube. What is slowly building up to. I want to share you a few lines here from Jacqueline Hobbs, Oracle Girl. So it is the return to innocence. That's what we are seeing on this planet. It's an initiation. And we will get to the word initiation in a minute, because this is activated even electromagnetically, the initiation. As I wrote in the description of last videos, 51 days out of 79 have the channel of initiation activated in these coming days. Here it is, just to show you. This is the channel of initiation from the heart, which is willpower, and ego, the power to leave a mark on this planet, and this is sense of self. So this is one of the most powerful channels, and it is, well, as we are speaking of it, let's just finish the story. I have to go with the flow here, so let me show you this screen, which is from Human Design Tools, and the link of that site is under the video too. So this channel is part of the mystical circuitry in the human body. This is the channel of shock 51, that is where the lunar north node is, between January 8 and May 12. That is the window, so this is well underway, that 51 shock energy, into the love of spirit. So it connects the channel of shock with the channel of love, for love of spirit. Love of spirit is really the innocence, the start, the beginning, that is at the very beginning of the zodiac, 0 degrees Aries. It overlaps a little bit into Pisces, but it is that very first hexagram opening the gates for a new cycle, is that love of spirit, and that is connecting with shock. And notice that this is a totally projected channel, so it is coming to you. You don't have to search for it. You don't have to do anything to be initiated. Life initiates you. Initiation in this channel is will-based. We want it. We want to be initiated. However, the willpower of the 2551 is less about willpower in the traditional way that we think of. Willpower, and more about having, sorry, I have to reread this to get it clear. The willpower of the 2551 is less about willpower in the traditional way that we think of willpower, and more about having the will to survive the initiation. Sure like that one. It really pushes us to that place where live or die, I guess. Either you really bite into the sour apple and you will realize it's maybe half as sour than you were expecting. If you are going with that pull of wanting to survive the initiation, yes, initiation can be shocking, dramatically life-altering, and of course unexpected. But the initiation here is always about bringing the individual closer to spirit. Sometimes we call this the channel of the shaman or the priestess. The shaman and the priestess have to die to the ego before they can emerge into their wisdom. Yes, very well written. Thank you for whoever wrote that. So this is that channel that is activated 51 out of 79 days for everyone on this planet between March 9 and May 27, and I have the dates here for you if you're interested. Just giving you the quick breakdown. From the 9th to the 12th of March it was Mercury in 25 and the node in 51. Then from just upcoming March 18 till 24 it will be the Sun, which is in that hexagram, yes, around spring equinox. Naturally the Sun is in that area of the zodiac, the Sun and the lunar north node, the evolutionary direction. So two of the most powerful parts of the zodiac are linking, activating this channel over the edge of the solar of the spring equinox, 0 degrees Aries, the Sun entering. And then for a whole month between April 10 and May 10, 30 days in a row, that channel is fully activated, which will be the day actually when Neptune enters hexagram 25, finally, the first time, at 28:15 Pisces. That's the critical cutoff point. So I said, I mentioned that certainly a few times as a target date. This is the day when Neptune's energy will shift into another gear. From darkening of the light, which was pretty dark, intense, critical, taking us really into the darkest corners of reality. That was for the last, let's roughly say, 5 years or so. I might be a little bit wrong, but definitely 4 years. It really matches perfectly with that whole craziness we're coming out of, which was hexagram 36, darkening of the light, and Neptune naturally being the final dispositor in astrology, as we say, as it's the ruler of Pisces. Here it is. Anyway, the long story short, then the last part of that, let me just finish this. So the last leg then of this energy being activated is then again from May 20 to 27. That is when Neptune, now solidly being 25, and then as the nodes move out of 51 by May the 12th or 15th around, Mars reactivates this hexagram between May the 20th and 27th. So this is gives you a few really interesting windows where the powers of initiation are open to each and every one, and it takes as little as changing the lane at this point still. That was one of the phrases Jacqueline Hobbs shared. That is her perception. There's multiple lanes, it's a big highway, and everybody is on a different lane, and if you now still change the lane to the right one, then you get the right exit or whatever, the right turnaround into the most positive timeline possible. So it is really a separation by choice. Everybody has a choice, and the more one realizes about the true nature of reality, the more people will definitely come to the optimal lane. I'm trusting this. This is just the natural progression of events, particularly if we look at charts like this one. Okay, what are we looking at this here? I'm showing you now a number of heliocentric charts, because this is really this. I wanted to do this ahead of time, but it was just overwhelming, and I actually rather enjoy looking at it from when it already happened, because now I can truly see what these energies do. I already have experienced it, and I'm talking kind of as an experiencer of that force. So on March the 11th, heliocentric Mars and Pluto had an exact conjunction. Here they are, 0-13 in Aquarius, right here. Now if we take this moment and transport it to Earth's grid, kind of just parallel transgression, as they call it in mathematics and in geometry. If you do that parallel transgression into our Earth grid, then this moment brings Uranus and Jupiter right into midheaven. I mean, this is an exceptional chart. This is such a clarity of intention is in this chart alone. And as I mentioned in my last recording, Mars and Pluto are the rulers of the solar eclipse coming up on April the 8th. Moon and Sun meet at 19 degrees 23 in Aries. Here I show you, as I have the chart open still. 1921, the moon 1923, and then 1924 Cassini with Chiron. So this is the 20th degree, which is ruled by none other than Scorpio. That's the sub-node. So Scorpio is Pluto's sign. Aries naturally is Mars' sign. So Mars and Pluto are the two rulers of the solar eclipse. And what are we seeing here? We have this heliocentric conjunction, which initiates a new 2+ year cycle for Mars to catch up again with Pluto at a new spot. So this is laying the foundation for this whole 2-year period, and that is giving this eclipse that much of a fuel, of a big fuel tank, if you want. That is what this chart is with. Naturally, this closing in Jupiter to Uranus 2 days or 3 days later. This is exact on the 14th. It was actually, we just are getting there. So bear with me. There's a few really most beautiful, powerful, encouraging charts we are melding here together. Just look at the vertex point here, and I mean Venus is, you see, just on the heels of entering Aquarius 2 on that day, still 11th of March. It was one day after new moon. But they make a big conjunction, very narrow, less than a degree. I mean, it's just a little more actually here, but over a very narrow little window these are together. And vertex naturally is the spiritual direction of meeting the world, you would say. This would be the mundane interaction point where we deal with tangible, real life and energetic matters, whereas here we are talking in a psychological way more of how we interact and relate to our world around. The vertex is super important, as is the equatorial ascendant, but just mentioning they're having the same kind of level. They're a little less important than naturally midheaven and ascendant, but there's many points which have a special meaning. The vertex being here Mars, Pluto and Venus here together, this is an enormous force of creation. This is really changing around everything, and it kind of piggybacks on the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction of December 2020. I mean, I really want to quickly go back because I'm mentioning the year 2020. Naturally, you all know what was the big story in 2020. And I would like to share this once more. I said it before. At the very beginning of that craziness, it was about mid-March when all these fears were magnified, and it was really lunacy. That's what I called it, and actually astrology showed exactly that it was totally a lunacy which was happening on this planet. The beautiful thing, and I immediately realized that very shortly after, was that the whole planet got onto the same frequency. Yes, it was a very low frequency. Yes, it was a difficult time with everybody being locked in and such, and having to feel the same pressure, the same state of mind. But this totally linked in with what Bill Wood said in 2011 in his famous interview with Kerry Cassidy. I will post that link again underneath too. This is one of the critical pieces of understanding of what this reality is about. Anyway, he speaks as a whistleblower of Project Looking Glass, and he says, as he understands what really is the singularity event we're heading toward, he called it the merging of all timelines. How about that? The whole planet going through the same state of mind, same experiences. Isn't that kind of a very low level, naturally, kind of putting everybody onto the same frequency thing? So that started in 2020. This was really the silver lining, if you want. Yes, I mean, there's always a silver lining. Every darkest, even clouds of storm has that, and that is the one of that particular year, and that is definitely kind of reflected and manifested in the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in the first degree of Aquarius. Aquarius, naturally, the two waves, perfectly showing this synchronicity, coming in tune with one another. Resonance music comes in that sense. When you have two instruments tuned to the same tones, you play one, the other one starts vibrating. This is the beautiful thing of resonance. Whoever is on the same level of perception, of reception, is connected with one another. All of that, it really triggers something of the invisible to become visible, to become experiential, I would say. So this is a beautiful, powerful chart we have here with Mercury conjunct TX 300. It's just unbelievable. This moment here alone is worth writing a book. And the sextile from Saturn, TX 300, by the way, is that bold, loud, kind of blowing oneself up to make oneself heard and seen. Naturally, we need that. We need a megaphone, and that is Saturn giving a backing here. A beautiful sextile based in mastery, which we have just come out of. We really have gotten a big batch here lately with the latest superior conjunction of Mercury and the Sun together with Saturn, all within that 10th degree of Pisces, which the Yes Sabian symbol is mastery. Go read it again. It's really, we have graduated. We are now purporting that power of clear, crystallized thought and intention, and that is what is happening these days. So let's see what I have lined up here. Okay, chaos. Who is chaos? Who the heck is chaos? Chaos is a Kuiper belt object. Takes about 308 years to circle once around the zodiac. One of the most circular ones. Here it is. Chaos at 0 degrees 20 in Cancer. Actually, here there's so much happening here. So chaos is here, and there's Aspolus. Aspolus, the guy who is a powerful investigator, wanting to dive down to the mysteries coming out of that connection with this, with opposing the galactic center. And Vesta is that devotion to the higher realms of reality, devotion to God, devotion to Great Spirit, all of that. And that devotion is so deep that you would give everything, even your life. That is the ultimate form of worship, of sacrifice in the end. All here cloistered together with chaos. Now, chaos is about primordial order. Yes, the meaning of disorder, or yes, I mean, chaos has become such a exactly expressing this in our language, but it's an inverted value. the real meaning, if you go back to the Greek source, is primordial order. When everything is still unmanifest, there is the crystallized sacred geometry within the quantum vacuum, where everything comes out of. And this is, if we speak of silver lining, the silver lining which came out of the CERN experiments, in my opinion, is that they observed particles to come out of the void, manifest, and then other particles again to disappear into the void without any trace. So they really showed there is this interface between unmanifest and manifest, and it takes as little as the right frequency intention to bring whatever is yet unmanifest into the manifest. So, but in the unmanifest, everything is in perfect order. It's like a perfectly quiet surface of a lake, and then as soon as a ripple is started, that's when things start manifesting, taking on physical form. So anyway, chaos turning forward, this is a big moment. Chaos naturally has all these outer planets to move forward and backward, usually around 5 months retrograde, 7 months forward. So chaos has been going backward for that many months, and this is the first time it turns in the sign of Cancer at 020. The last time it turned direct again, it was in the latest degrees of Gemini. So this is a real great push off from a rock, a jumping board, to get into a new motion. And I just want to show you one thing here. The 16th degree of Aries and Libra, they keep showing up over and over again, not just that the nodal axis and is in these degrees, also between, and let me get that right, I made a note here, the node is in the 16th degree since February 27 till May the 12th. Now this 16th degree is the connection with nature spirits, and the 16th degree of Libra, that is a boat landing that has to be repaired after a big storm, which means it's a recalibration of and the rebuilding of our connection to the unconscious, to the greater cosmos, which is represented by the sea. And the boat landing is the connection. So this is a really powerful opposition of degrees. And as I say, these are multiple times accentuated. Just thinking of Mercury turning direct again in this degree on April the 25th it will be. I mean, this chart alone again is a gem. Is so full of enormous alignments. Just think of the moon here connecting with, coming out of a conjunction with Chiron, coming out of the conjunction with the lunar north node, coming out of the conjunction with the ascendant, if you look at the houses as static. And even more so that the lunar north node moves forward here. That these are exceptional moments. They only happen a few days, every so often, every 4 months or so, a few days, where the lunar node is hitting a plateau and wavering a little bit forward and back, which is really rare that the lunar node moves in that sense forward through the zodiac. Now, this all together with the ascendant shows the intention of chaos. Chaos, that primordial order, rattling everything into the right position. It is literally the vibration put onto the platform with all the sand on, and pushing it to the frequency of desire, of what one would want it to be. This is an enormous power which we have here at 0 degrees Cancer. And Cancer, the 0 degree mark, is the summer solstice point. Modesty is the name of the game here, of honoring existence at its core and showing this gratefulness to the nature spirits as they help us integrate with everything. And I want to read you here a few quotes. So let me find it. Here it is. Okay, it is about connecting with natural rhythms and nature's frequency. That is really that primordial order we are experiencing. So it is an impersonal force. Nature is extremely impersonal, as Jacqueline Hobbs here once said. Nature's actually quite ruthless in a very dispassionate way. Sentient, unpredictable, and healthy to and ready to take a healthy risk. And nature is governed by its own principles, which are algorhythms, and they are governed by universal law. And nature is the only healthy authority. So that's why we have that connection to source. Each of us has a source connection, and when we close our eyes and become silent, just attune to the body, feel it, connect with your breath, whatnot, just be unoccupied, then you can connect with that inner source and you get all the inspiration, nourishment you need in order to follow through. And the recharging time really is 20 minutes, so it's little as that, but that helps tremendously. I'm now back in practice doing this every day together with my beloved wife, and we have a great time together, regardless all the challenges and craziness of what this world brings at us. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I guess that's exactly it, and that's also what we're seeing with Ishion here. Ishion is that, I would say it's a compassion, it's a deep compassion which comes out of repentance, out of having been the bad boy, having done all the things unbelievable and unimaginable, went to the craziest places of the universe. Really, that's Ixion, and now in its resurrected form, you could say, it has the wisdom of all that, but has transformed to a place of forgiveness and repentance and being of service. And BNR here on the other side, that is the free spirit that is at the very source, and the input here from from our inner resources. Again, 57, that is the gentle, the penetration of the wind. That's the name of this 57th hexagram, which rules that area. Intuition, you're connected to intuition. We feel it, we know it, if we just really are able to feel our body from within. That's really the thing. The more you're connected to your body, the easier it is to navigate through these present times. Also vertex here in a perfect T-square with the power axis in the 6th house. Yes, it's all about healing and service and being, helping each other. A beautiful, beautiful chart. Let's keep going. I don't want to make it too long here for you, because there's still a few charts and they're all incredible, unbelievable. So this is just the day after, when heliocentric Venus now has pulled up to Pluto. That is here. Venus is at 014, just has taken over Pluto. Remember a day ago we had Venus, Mars and Pluto at 013, so that's how little as Pluto moves in one day, 1 minute of arc. So Venus catching up, and I mean, you can't make that stuff up. This is the degree at midheaven over the 0 meridian. At that exact moment, it's just awesome. It's really a sign of heaven that everything is taken care of. We just have to just move along, let flow, go with the flow, go with your passions, go with the call which comes from your inner self, and be brave and take risks. It's worth taking risks in these times, because all the powers that were, yes, they might appear still to be the powers that be, but really they are not. They're mere silhouettes, and they are pushovers. They have lost so many within their ranks. They're running short on workforce, and I mean, it's collapsing from deep within. It has to happen, and we are ready to stand there and literally hold whatever is coming down, falling, and giving, helping to rescue and save lives where we can naturally, but also it is important to get out of the footprint of the structures which are caving in. So this is you see, now they're all in Aquarius, and they're all squaring Haumea. Haumea, regeneration, rebirth through fire. It's Haumea is said to be the goddess who created the archipelago of Hawaii, all the volcanic build-up from a deep ocean floor. Mauna Kea, I guess, is the name of the highest volcanoes, and if you measure it from ground up, it's 14 kilometers high. It's in that sense relatively higher than Mount Everest. That's the build-up, that's the cone from the seafloor. 14 kilometers of build-up. That is the power of Haumea, of bringing new land above the sea, opening new possibilities. And there's lots of fertility. There's the goddess of giving birth. I mean, how much more obvious and beautiful it can be than that? All centered around the 0 degree Aquarius axis. I mean, it's so obvious to me as an astrologer. Nothing can go wrong anymore at this point. It's all already written in stone. Okay, this is the day after. Now Mercury, you see, let's go back one chart here. So here you see Mercury at 1441, that is on the 12th, and 8 at 8:14 8 a.m. and now we are a day and 6 hours later, and Mercury has caught up and is now exactly between Jupiter and Uranus. How about that? 23, 24, 25 is the minute count here. They're all in this one spot, and I really like to do this chart, even though it's not an exact conjunction, but it is a perfect arrangement in the perfect sequence, the same space between the two. So this in itself is a, you could see, a collective chart. It's more than an usual conjunction, so that's why it has really quite some special meaning, I thought. 29th degree of Leo, that is where Venus had culminated last year 2023. From that was the degree it turned retrograde from. So this is very Venusian charged degree, and that degree is, let me tell you the exact wording. This is a mermaid emerges from the ocean waves, ready for rebirth in human form. Beautiful. The stage at which an intense feeling, intuition, rising from the unconscious, is about to take form as a conscious thought. Something wants to be born here. Yes. Yearning for conscious form and solidity. In Leo, nevertheless, that is the energy Venus still carries. That was her last summit experience, if you want. Like mountaineers, you have your summit experiences. These are peak events. Naturally, they are in your memory. Anyway, let's look at this same chart in the geocentric perspective and look at that. It's just beautiful. You see, it's the same degrees here with the axis, but the heliocentric, these three planets are here in the 23rd degree, as seen from Earth. They group differently, and they are perfectly aligned around the midheaven here. Jupiter and Uranus. Yes, Jupiter and Uranus. That's the big story, I tell you. I mean, it's very obvious. And the moon here, moon, Uranus are framing in Jupiter. So it's a tight group. And then there's TX302. Yes, it's just all perfect. And also here, Venus and Mars framing the 7th house cusp. The exact midpoint would be 27, 26. So you see it's less than a degree from, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Uranus. And then, okay, now we have arrived at the most important seed that has been planted in these few last days. That was when Jupiter and Uranus were dead on conjunct. Here they are, 22, 25, and then there's also seconds of arc down to all the decimals. I always do calculate this really exact down to the second you can go. That's how exactly we know the algorithms of the planet's motions. That is where mathematics comes in. That's where observation comes in, where the astronomers do the prep work for us astrologers to give us the tools to make these exact calculations. So thank you. It's wonderful to have that, and that's a perfect example of artificial intelligence being in service of something good. Okay, what does this chart show? This is at the moment, I guess, what I mean, this again, I could say many things about it. I like the Capricorn rising here, cardinal, and I like Radamantis here at the top of the chart in Scorpio. So this is about bringing justice into reality, bringing things back into balance. Also, all these planets here, Venus, Mars and Pluto, are in the first house in this beautiful trine to Sedna in the 6th house. This makes me think of opening the vaults of knowledge which Sedna brings in from its 11,000 year orbit. Sedna is really a vault of information. It's the storage of the Akashic records, you could almost say, in Gemini now, and in this beautiful trine with all these planets, Venus, Mars and Pluto. Sedna is a grounding force. It really allows the roots to go deep, and it brings balance and harmony, because also Sedna is one of these characters who have been going through very dark experiences in order to come to a seasoned place of forgiveness and understanding, and becoming the queen of the oceans, ruling over all the sea creatures and having explored all the depths and deep abysses within the ocean. It is that kind of energy. And this is in the perfect balance here with that first, second degree Cancer, Capricorn horizon. So these energies naturally come into play as major forces. Also Mercury and Venus here are in that same symmetry. I have here on the side, as you see, this is an important chart, is coming a little later this year. This is when Uranus will cross that degree where it will eventually come back to by January 2025, after it had been going retrograde for a few months. That is the turning point again. So it is entering what I call its retro loop, which is gives us an idea of what will manifest, because it's really for that reason that Uranus will come to absolute 0 point in January 2025. This degree is already charged and holds a frequency, and it has that same second degree cardinal axis here in the power axis, and here it's brought into the horizon. So this is super important, this axis. And again, it is hexagram 10 threading, the ability to exactly measure your appearance, how you want to interact with the world, very sensible and deeply aware of the implications. And on the south side here, on the other side, the interactive side, chaos of all. which we just looked at, that ability to allow for everything to defragment and reform itself out of its ashes. That is the energy, really. It is the trust that things will naturally assemble in a most aligned way. It's like a morning after a snow has fallen. It's always that absolute utter perfection, beauty. And that is the case with nature. Anywhere and everywhere you go into the desert, where the wind blows and blows to dunes, or even the leaves in fall, when they all come down from the trees and the wind blows them around, it's always, everything is always perfectly ordered. The ripples on a lake, these are all expressions of chaos, of natural order. That is promoted and promoted again. Even something else I want to really quickly share with you with this chart, with Uranus entering this new phase. You see, the sun at the time, and again this is random, this wouldn't have to be particularly like that, but it is this time. The sun is here in a conjunction with Uranus, and again you see between Uranus and Jupiter, it keeps repeating that theme. It is the theme of the year. It is the renewal, the real bringing in that seed of Aquarius into the ground and fertilizing it. That's Jupiter's energy. Yes, plenty of expansive forces are pumped in and pushed into it, so it grows fast and furious and multiplies. So let's see, I guess I'm starting to run out of charts here. Right, so this is the same moment here. This is the heliocentric chart of Jupiter-Uranus conjuncting, and this is how we see it from Earth's perspective, geocentrically. And again, I mean, you can't make that stuff up. You see the moon again in pole position between Uranus, Jupiter and Uranus. It's just beautiful. It's just magic. Anyway, the last chart I have here for you, and it chimes in the same way, falls in line with what I just said. When the sun enters 0 degree Aries on March the 20th, which will be an 8 Chuen day in the Mayan calendar. To loop back to that for a second, let me just bring that back up once more, because it's really worth it. So this is March 20th, 8 Chuen, the blue galactic monkey. Whatever you may think of that, but Julian Assange was born on a day with that signature. He is a monkey in that sense, and the guiding sign of that day is the eagle, the power of vision. So this will be the signature of this whole coming year, the energy which is impersonated by Julian Assange. Another really nice little snippet of synchronicity. Wanting to add that Julian Assange still waiting for the resolution there, and I have a very positive feeling that things will change in a surprising way, that he will be released, and in that sense giving green light to all the journalists all over the globe to have the courage to start reporting real stuff. That's what I see coming, and this year having exactly this signature as Julian, and Julian having turned 52 years old on July the 3rd, 2023. So he's still within this 53rd year of his life, which carries the same signature as his birth signature. So he is in that galactic monkey year which he was born into. that is also the reason why we call ourselves elders when we cross the 52-year mark. Just a little side information there: if you're older than 52, you're an elder, and you deserve to be respected as that, because you have gone through 4 times 13 years, 13 being the magic number, 4 elements, the 4 directions of the medicine wheel. You have completed the full round, and that is every 52 years. This template matches again exactly the same time with the Gregorian calendar which we use. So every 52 years we repeat the same pattern. That's why the 52-year mark was such an important celebration for the Maya culture. Okay, I guess I gave you tons of stuff to think about, and leave it at this for now. And I will definitely bring up another episode very, very soon, because it's such an intense, compressed time we are living in. So much is happening in such short periods, overlapping each other, multidimensional, you name it. Thank you for joining and listening. It's a pleasure to have you all here. I'm so lucky, feeling myself to be so lucky, as this community is just really growing so fast now. I can't believe it. Thank you so much, and please always look at what is in the description. I always give a little bit of a text and some links naturally you might enjoy. And if you would like to support me, that is definitely most welcome. Throw in a little bit of something if you feel like you got something out of it. You don't have to, but if you feel like it's very, very appreciated. Have a wonderful day.